you'll see the difference between this style of a diverter and this style of a diverter, which is called a push button. In this particular case, it's used by Delta. We'll take this valve completely apart so you'll see what's going on inside of it and how to rebuild it. What causes a drip out of the spout, what causes a drip leak coming back from the bonnet section, and also I will give you part numbers for different kits available to repair this Delta valve. This is Farsheet with another video just for you. Today I want to show you how to rebuild this Delta valve. Before we get started, I'm going to take a look at the two different types of valves, a Delta and a mix-it. More specifically, we're going to take a look at the differences between how they divert water from the bathtub to the shower. This particular valve has the divert mechanism built into the valve assembly. This valve does not. So this valve relies on a divert mechanism that's external, such as this over here. So this is a divert. When you pull this up, the water, as it's flowing through this pipe, it stops here, then gets redirected through the same pipe all the way up to the shower head. So that's the divert mechanism, and I'll show you how that actually works. But the main thing is we're focusing on the differences between the two valves, because when it comes to rebuilding one of these, one of the problems that I've seen people encounter, it's not so much the valve itself, but it's the divert mechanism, where either it gets stuck in the bathtub position or gets stuck in the shower mode position, and I'll show you how to address that. So this is how the mechanism inside of this divert spout assembly works. Like this. And what happens is, as you pull up on this lever, seal comes in contact with the pipe and seals the pipe and forces the water to stop here and travel up to the shower head. So it seals against it like that. So now that you understand the concept, we'll take a look at what's going on inside of this Delta. This doesn't have the lever because the divert is done here. So let's get rid of that, the knob off. Then we can take off the scutcheon plate, taking the two screws out. Scutcheon plate comes out. This is where the hot water comes in. This is where the cold water comes in. This is where the mixing happens. This is where the divert takes place, going to the bathtub, and this goes to the shower. Common problem with this assembly is that this divert mechanism gets stuck, and the way you can fix it is unscrews like that. Then you can soak the entire assembly in some CLR. Leave it in there for 2 to 4 minutes. Then take it out and rinse it, test it, and reassemble. Hopefully that works. If not, then this is what you need to do next. You can either buy a generic manufactured by Danco, or you can buy the original. And the difference in the price, I think, is $3-4 bucks. So let me show you how this actually works. So the reason these fail is because over time, hard water deposit makes this so it's difficult for it to move back and forth. So the force of the spring is not enough to overcome the hard water deposit that's been built up on the plunger. Concept is the same as this here, where what we're doing is we're stopping the flow of water coming out to the bathtub. In this case, we're using this seal. With the built-in divert, what we're doing is this acts as a seal. You're trying to block the water going down this direction. The paddle goes in. You push the paddle so it blocks the water. Once the water starts flowing through the shower head, then this stays in. The suction that's created in the pipe holds this in place until you stop the valve and the water starts flowing back down. The pressure is not enough and this will release and it will come out. So that's how you fix the divert issue. Now let's look at the valve assembly itself. So if you see a few drips now and again coming out of the spout, you may be able to fix that by just simply taking a needle nose and rotating this nut in order to put more pressure onto the seats that they're under the ball inside of this valve, and that may stop it. If it doesn't, then you have to take the valve apart and replace these seats. Taking this nut off. Again, this is all with the water turned off. Once you do that, you can take this collar off. Now you notice that there is a notch here and there's a tab here. When you reassemble this, you have to make sure that these are lined up. So then the next thing you do is this assembly comes out. Seal comes out. This one has the ball inside of it. But what usually fails and what needs to be replaced is actually inside of the valve body. Let me see if I can pop them out for you. So that's one that allows the hot water to come in. This is the left one. Pops right out right there. Oh, both of them came out. That's one. This is what needs to be replaced. And I would replace the spring. Do the same thing with the other side. And there's the spring for the other one. If I can get it, there we go. There you have it. Okay, let me explain something about the spring now. As you can tell, let me use one of these here as a backing so you can see it clearly. All right. See how it has a narrow side and a wide side? The narrow side goes inside the cup. It's not a bad idea to replace the rest of this stuff. This is a aftermarket Danco. This one I got opened up, but let's see here what we got. Let me put the old stuff on this side, put our valve in the center, and let's see what we got inside of this, because this has got a bunch of stuff in it, which they make it for Delta and Peerless, all kinds of stuff in there. Let's see what we need and what we don't need. So this looks like this one. These seals here, they fit on the outside of our valve. Not a bad idea to replace that as well. So if you wanted to replace that one, we got one of those right here. And same thing again, you have the tab over here that fits into that cutout. And here's a spring that's got a narrow side and a wide side. Here's the second spring. Oh, I'm putting them on the wrong side, guys. You got to catch me on those. And then here's the seal, nice and shiny, brand new. To assemble this, what I would recommend is using a waterproof grease, and everything that you put back in there, obviously put it back in the reverse order, lubricate and then put back in. We start off with our seals. Again, keeping in mind that there's your seal and the spring fits in this way. The narrow side goes inside the cup. That takes care of that one. Take care of that one. And then as far as this ball that goes in there, see how the lever is laid out that fits in here like this? Fits in this way. I'm going to go ahead and put my new parts away. So let's reassemble. The way we reassemble is we take some of this grease, lubricate this seal, put the spring in, like that. So they're both in there. So the seal goes on the back side. There's the ball. Line up the tab with the notch that's cut out into the valve. Just like that. Put that in there. Now, because of the springs and the seats that we have in there, you'll see this is not going to stay in place. It just keeps pushing forward. So that's where this collar comes into play. Let me point out something on the collar too. Most people don't know this. You will now. All right, see this here? This actually is a nut that rotates here. It is to adjust the tension of the valve assembly. So you can drive this nut down to put more pressure on top of the valve. Makes it tighter. Loosen it up, makes it looser. But you got to keep in mind, if it's too loose, then you're not pushing down on the seals and the spring. You're going to have a leak. You're going to have a drip down here. So this is how you can compensate for that. Okay, so there it is. So that's that part. And then last but not least, so let's say this is new, right? Same thing again. Lubricate the seal. Let's look inside here. There we go. Like that. Put that in. Rotate it. All right, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you like what you see out of this channel, please subscribe to my channel. There we go, we got the pin out. So you take the pin out. There's your pin. There's your paddle. And here's the assembly. That's what it looks like. There's a big old spring in there. Right? Here's the seal that prevents the water from coming out from under the push button.